Hello, thanks for calling by. That was a flavour of The Water is Wide, lovely traditional song. I hope you recognised it. Thank you very much for the feedback that Louise and I have had to our previous videos. It's very heartwarming. Thank you also to those who dropped into the PayPal link. Very much appreciated. Some of the feedback that we've received, apart from how beautiful a voice Louise has got, has been some in the form of some questions or comments about this particular piece of kit, the part Capo. The part Capo. Whenever we first start learning to play the guitar, typically what happens is that you find out, oh, I've got to tune it and keep it in tune, and the standard tuning that we reach for from here, however, I wanted to find, as I say, that extra voice in the guitar. So I'd be looking at the way in which chords might actually move. So that little riff of Paul Simon's on Homeward Bound reminds me of the next piece of it. I'm sitting in the railway station, got a ticket wandering away from that sort of just standard shape and deviating that a little bit suddenly brings the guitar more voice. And that's where the part Capo comes in. Because I'd gone on to DADGAD, I'd played with DADGAD, probably about now more than 10 years ago. In fact, it would be about 10 years ago because the first album that I did was in 2011. After years and years of playing and doing that, I finally got around to recording stuff. But I recorded a number of tracks on that album, including the title track of Set My Dreams Free in DADGAD. And some few years later was the time that I came across Chris Drever and the part Capo, and then wanted to find out more. And at the time, it seemed the only way I could find out more was to actually get hold of one and start fiddling around with it myself, which is what I did. So what is it doing? Well, it's naturally, quite obviously, it's changing the tuning of the guitar is what it's doing. The part Capo, let me show you a little bit closer. You see that? The part Capo versus the standard Capo. And you can see standard Capo made to cover 6 strings right across, part Capo to cover 3. The way in which it's built is that there's this sort of space up here, this shoulder of the Capo. This one's a Shub. There are other manufacturers of Capos, of course, but I got hold of this one fairly easily those years back. I think I got this one off of Amazon. They're still on there, but the price seems to have not just gone up, but risen quite a bit. Don't know why. But you can see the way in which it's then constructed just to come out over the 3 strings. Now that gap there is quite deliberate because that gap is then set to clear a string. So it fits this way. 2nd fret, very important 2nd fret. We'll see why in a moment. But on the 2nd fret, position it like all Capos, trying to position it so that it's parallel to the fret, snug to the fret that you're coming up to. And with that, now the root that I've got here is still my E string, 6th string, E string. So that in itself is actually a chord. And I usually forget what it is, but just for the sake of this video, I just checked a bit. Again, a purist might check a bit further, but he's sus. It's kind of got that suspense about it, hasn't it? Something's got to follow. Oh, and that could follow it. Which brings it to a modal chord of E. Modal's interesting because it's neither minor nor major. So you can actually sit a modal chord in, and you can then enjoy what really are the kind of the droning effects of the strings. The guitar itself then, for that tuning of going E, B, E, A, B, E, is as if I've taken strings 3, 4 and 5 and I brought them up one whole note. 2 frets in this instance. And in doing that, it's exactly the same pattern if I'd taken strings 1 and 2 and 6 and taken them down a whole note. So where would that get me? Well, if I went from standard without the part capo on and I took the E string down a whole note, E to D. So I would then have, in standard tuning, I'd then have a D, an A and a D. I would then have a G. That B string of the standard tuning would go down to an A, and the top E would go down to a D. DADGAD. So by placing the part capo on in this pattern here, the relationship of the strings is exactly the same relationship that I have with that guitar, which is a whole tone down from this. That's in DADGAD. This is in EBEABE. I don't think it's going to catch on. But that's what the part capo does for me. Thanks to the band. That is picking up more of the minor. That's actually the beginning, a little bit of a rift, the minory piece. A song that I've recently written about the highwayman, who was the last highwayman to be hung in Lancashire, called George Lyon. More of that in time to come. But you can get the fact that what you can do on here with the part capo on, that DADGAD relationship, is, and you may well have discovered this if you've already dabbled with DADGAD, majors, minors, modal chords are now available to you. Other gifted guitarists, not in that bracket, they will actually find that, and almost from whatever tuning is their favourite place to be. There are some people who would never ever touch a capo because it can do strange things and upset the strings, but they have the gift of just following the fret from start to finish and finding any key in any note they ever want to. I have to think about it a bit. So the capo for me, it's a godsend. So something that shows off the way in which the part capo allows me to play both DADGAD shaped chords and standard shaped chords would be a song, it's actually one that I put together about Francisco de Cuellar, who was a captain in a Spanish ship of the Armada, who remarkably survived. However, you can spot that. I think I did that one on Soundbite 3. So if you're interested, take a look on that one. But it's basically set around the B chord, which is 34-44. But I used my pinky and my ring finger for it, and there's a reason for that, because I'm going to take in something of the B minor, which would be middle finger onto the second string, so that would be, where's that, 32, and then I'm going in alongside the capo but on string 1 for a 21. But I don't want to play all of that all at once, because it kicks off like this. Through that a couple of times, but then the song will kick off. But you can see the way in which I'm taking in the A chord, the stretch that I made in that one. But here's how the song goes. My name is Francisco de Cuellar. I'm a sailor for the crown. I know the sea, its memories. I'm haunted by the sound. For I survived the raging sea, the failure of our quest, when I sailed with Sidonia. Still I search for rest. I sailed with Sidonia. Still I search for rest. And the wind did blow, and the sea did roll, all for the fancy of the king. So the way in which that song is playing, you can see the way I'm just using the little pieces of the B minor to just give me that little bit of a rift at the beginning of it. But I use a standard shape in there. That's like a C-shaped chord. I use that shape for the A. It's actually A2, technically speaking, but I use there, and I then also bring in the minor, the F sharp minor, as it would be, but I leave my pinky alone, just because I think it offers a little bit more. There's something there for me anyway. But then what happens is I take a little of that, so I move into what Steve Knightley would call chunky chords, others would call maybe power chord arrangement, because what I do from that F sharp minor is move to a G, which is there. And I'm only maybe taking parts of it, which is the way in which power chords can be played, and then I move from there up to the A. Yeah, so it was, how does it go? My name is Francisco de Cuellar. There's the A2. Here comes the minor pieces. A sailor for the crown. So yeah, there's ways in which we can move around with chords like that, but the other sort of thing then is the way in which we put, in changing the key with the capo, I've now gone for 3rd fret, which is now G, and if I put, again, keeping that 2 fret distance, the part capo on, quick check. That is now a G chord. G sus. A little bit of noodling, but that one worked up a little bit better. It's called Roaring Rory, which is something I did just to stick on the end of a song that was calling for a tune. It's actually the Dancers song that I put it onto. And there's a song that's become really quite popular in the last 10 years or so, called Mary of Dunlow. I came across Mary of Dunlow, must have been in the early 70s, and sang it with my dad, and now I sing it with my daughter, Louise. And it just follows through quite a bit of DADGAD shaped chords in it, but anyway, I hope you found that useful. I hope you found that some way a little bit enjoyable. But if you found it useful or enjoyable, don't forget the PayPal link. Anything would be appreciated in there. Not obligatory, but thank you very much both for watching. Thank you very much also if you visit that. I'm going to leave you now with this, a promise and a song. And the promise is that I'll come back and I'll do a part 2 to this one. Because strangely enough, one day in my mindless method, I actually put the part capo on upside down. And I found another world waiting for me. We'll explore that in part capo, part 2 to come. In the meantime, you can focus in on this particular element. So I'll get fixed up and put this back on. And you can watch how I play along to Louise and I singing Mary of Dunlow. Until next time, take care, still stay safe. Bye for now.
Oh, then fare thee well, sweet Donegal, the rushes and wheat all. I'm crossing the main ocean where the foaming billows roll. It breaks my heart from you to part, where I spent many happy days. Fare thee well to kind relations, I'm bound for America. Oh, Mary, oh, my heart's delight, my pride and only care. It was your cruel father would not let me stay there. But absence makes the heart grow fond, and when I am over the main, may the Lord protect my darling girl till I return again.
My love is fair and pretty, her age is scarce 18. She's by far the fairest maid scarce deny my Mary of Dunlow.
Oh,
I wish I was in sweet Dunlow,
and
seated on